you'll be surprised what you can handle when you're put into a situation and there's no other options. So I'm sure you would have done okay, Chaz.
I don't know. We'll see.
But it's interesting, Chaz. You said something that relates to me too. Is you said I didn't want to let my parents down. I was similar too, where I ran in some rough crowds, but I didn't want to disappoint my parents. And me and Michael have done a lot of studying on the youth, and 1 in 3 kids live in single family households. 24 million kids are without dads. And it seems a lot of the kids that have rough past that go to jail, a lot of them don't have father figures or parents to even disappoint. So that's why I think mentorship and what you guys do is so important to the kids that don't have that role model.
I totally agree with you, Peter, because how do you learn? You throw these young gangbangers out in the street, 11, 12 years old. They're like, I think Denzel Washington talked about it. He was in Chicago, I think, and he talked about these kids, 11, 12 years old, on bikes, and they call them yummies, he said. And the cab driver said to him, he said, well, what's a yummy? He's a murderer.
Yep.
12 years old. The older guys in the crew, in these crews, we shouldn't even call them crews, these gangs would hire the younger kids to commit murder, because if they get caught, they don't really go to jail for life.
No, they got to get out at 25.
Exactly.
So they figure and they indoctrinate them once they get into prison.
Right.
They're around all their homeboys, as they call them, or whatever. And they have to be released at 25. So Chaz, I was in a place one time and I was talking to a bunch of juveniles, and we finished the conversation. I was giving them each a book, and I'll never forget this. A young kid, African-American kid, comes up. He's 12 years old. And I look at him and I said, what are you in here for? And he gives me one of these. I said, hey, when an adult asks you a question, you look him in the eye and you answer. I said, why are you in here? And he goes like this, Chaz, I killed somebody.
Yeah.
I said, what? He said, yeah, I killed somebody. And then I got into his situation a little bit. That's exactly it. These gangbangers, they engage these young kids to do their bidding because they got to get out at 25. And by that time, they're full-fledged indoctrinated into the gang. Yeah. Because why? They had no mentor. They had nobody to teach them. We talked about it earlier today, apprenticeship and mentorship, how important it is in someone's life. Doesn't matter what age you are. Doesn't matter what age. Of course, it's vital when you're younger to have somebody to have a positive influence on you. And that's why it's so sad about all these broken homes, fatherless homes. It's terrible because these kids grow up seriously like wild animals.
Yeah, like let's face it, if nobody loves you and you feel that nobody loves you, you don't care.
Exactly.
You don't care who you disappoint. You don't care if you disappoint yourself. You substitute love with anger and resentment, and you're looking to strike out against anyone or anything. So having a mentor, the main reason why I'm here today is because I didn't want to disappoint my mother and father. So when push came to shove and I was offered to do something for money or for like fame or respect, supposedly in the street, I said no. I didn't want to, because I had somebody who loved me and I felt love. So having someone love you, your parents, it's so, so important.
And you got to feel for these kids. I mean, I always say this. My kids were brought up in the best of situations.
Right.
They had, even when I was in prison, my mom, my wife, God bless her, she took care of these kids, my wife's family, even the church that we were involved in. And I still had issues with 2 of my sons.
Yes.
My young son, Michael Jr., Chaz, for 10 years, the kid drove me crazy. Got into drugs, got himself a DUI, got expelled from school, and he had the best of everything. I communicate for a living. I could not communicate with this kid. He would turn me right off.
Wow.
My wife used to say, pray for him. He's a late bloomer. And I used to say, but how late? He's getting older. All of a sudden, the last 7, 8 years, he snapped out of it. He's doing great and all this kind of stuff. But my point is, he had the best of everything. He had good mentorship, good people around him, a lot of love. And this world can be so distracting. So many
Right.
things can come into, into your focus that you all of a sudden you're sidetracked, you're doing the wrong thing. You got to have people around you that lead you in the right direction and keep you focused on what's right in life, because
Right.
there's so many distractions.